When was the last time you cared about the Oscars results? Truly, when was the last time a movie or a star you liked was up for the Oscars and you said, wow, I really hope they win? Personally, I remember the 94th Oscars, the show with the whole Will Smith thing, and wanting to see Dune win out, but that was Coda's year. The time before that, I wasn't really rooting for Parasite, but I was hoping that it would get some acclaim. Winning damn near every award it was nominated for was quite the unexpected twist. The earliest year where I was really tuned in for the Oscars was the year Spotlight won for Best Picture, when I was rooting for Mad Max Fury Road.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
The lingering feeling throughout all this is disappointment. It's the disappointment that my favorite movie didn't get picked, sure, but that only paints part of the picture. In the later years of the Oscars, I started to have seen more and more of the films that were up for the awards, as well as learning about Cannes, the Golden Globes, BAFTA, Independent Spirit Awards, and so on. As my film knowledge grew, as well as the film knowledge of all of us at 305 Film Studios, we still felt the same disappointment. Even though our understanding and appreciation for the creativity and artistry of the form grew, it felt like all of our picks were still getting robbed at the big award shows. The dirty secret is, this is nothing new. The Thing, one of the greatest horror movies of all time and one of John Carpenter's most celebrated movies of his filmography, didn't even get a nomination. Oh, but critics hated it at the time, so that excuses the award shows. Okay, sure. The Shining. Nothing. Oh, but again, another one that had mixed reviews, even though Stanley Kubrick was already heralded as one of the greatest directors of his time, and Jack Nicholson was a bona fide superstar and A-list actor. Yeah, still nothing. Okay, let's go away from horror then. The King of Comedy? Yeah, no. Wait, so Martin Scorsese's flawed and disturbed characters get celebrated in Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, but not for this one? Okay, maybe it's just a lesser movie. Sure, something like, I don't know, Goodfellas wins the Oscar, right? Fuck! Golden Globes? Fuck! Okay, 80s and early 90s, sure. What about the 70s? That's the height of the auteurs. That's when Spielberg, De Palma, Scorsese, and all of them took over Hollywood. What about a John Cassavetes movie like A Woman Under the Influence? That's one of his more recognizable and acclaimed movies of his filmography. Surely a drama like that would have gotten at least nominated. Fuck! Look, you're not beating Godfather 2, sure, but what the hell is Lenny? This is all to say that these movies weren't even nominated in the major awards, with the exception of A Woman Under the Influence. Goodfellas sticks out as one of the big pre-internet Oscars snafus, where it felt like a movie got robbed both in the moment and afterwards. After that, you have a bunch of years that really stand out as glaring errors on the Academy's part. 98 has Shakespeare in Love over Saving Private Ryan, 02 has Chicago over The Two Towers, and even something like The Pianist, Polanski crap aside. 05 has Crash over Brokeback Mountain. Looking back on it, one can say homophobia, but there's a bigger pattern here. Even with the expansion to 9 movies instead of 5, you saw the debacle of The Artist over movies like The Help and The Tree of Life. 2018 had Green Book over Roma, and 2020 had Nomadland over Sound of Metal. The consistent thing with all these winners is how little you hear about the winners over those years compared to the other movies I had mentioned. The collective film discourse picks the quote-unquote winners in a way. The conversation shifts away from movies like Kramer vs. Kramer, Ordinary People, and Gandhi to Apocalypse Now, The Shining, and even Tootsie. These films become more recognized and lauded for their cinematic achievements than the ones that were already quote-unquote achieved. Hell, even the Oscars do this bit of revising with their honorary award, where they basically say, hey, sorry Mr. Lynch, Mulholland Drive was pretty sweet, sorry we didn't know it at the time, anyway, here's this. This is not trying to harp on the Oscars specifically. It is universally recognized as the awards show, both professionally and publicly, and has the most power out of any award show. It's not Golden Globe winner Natalie Portman, it's Academy Award winner Natalie Portman. Perhaps that's the thing to change. At the same time, the other awards aren't as universal as the Oscars. The Golden Globes has a limiting breakdown of drama and comedy/musical. If you have a banger, horror, action, sci-fi, or western that you can't trick people into thinking it's a drama, sorry bud, good luck next year. Side note, remember when The Martian was nominated as a comedy that year, and it won? Oh Ridley, you sly devil you. Sure, the Oscars have pretty much just dramas, but at least there is the open-endedness of having the category just be Best Picture of the Year, which is the other problem with the Oscars is that they rarely, or if ever, have any type of genre movies. You can go back to the 70s or the 80s with Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars and stuff like that, but the other problem is that the Oscars rarely, if ever, have any supreme movies in their midst that are genre movies. Take any of the great horrors of the 2010s. Hell, take any of the great thrillers of the 90s and the 2000s. It's incredible how few nominations David Fincher gets, but because he works pretty much exclusively in the thriller category, he never gets in. But because the Academy members only seem to like a certain kind of movie, these genre movies get pushed aside, but we'll get to the Academy in a second. Next, you have the Independent Spirit Awards. The name itself implies the scale of the award. While it is a fantastic platform to congratulate independent directors and showcase the work of terrific independent films that, at times, tend to be the best of that year, it is still independent. You don't get a lot of the big-time actors there, nor do you get the big crowd pleasers that may also be the best movies of that year. Plus, not the best foreign representation across time. Then you've got BAFTA, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards. They don't do exclusively British stuff and pick a nice group of films every year. Still, they slip up with The Artist and Nomadland as their best of the year picks. Also, much like the Academy Awards, they don't have the best track record for foreign or non-English speaking films. So, we turn to Cannes. Next to Sundance and Tribeca, the Cannes Film Festival is the most recognized and highly regarded film festival in the world. It carries a great amount of significance historically and carries that same weight today, with the coveted Palme d'Or being the highest prize of the festival. With all things considered, the winners are pretty solid. Taxi Driver in 76, Apocalypse Now in 79, and Pulp Fiction in 94 stand out as some of the great American films to win. Then there's La Dolce Vita all the way back in 60, Taste of Cherry in 97, Parasite in 2019, and even up to this past year with Anatomy of a Fall. All fantastic picks for Best Film of the Year. That being said, you've got some weird ones. Elephant in 03 is odd. In 09, you had The White Ribbon over Enter the Void and Inglourious Bastards. Not sure about that. Then you have the very controversial Blue is the Warmest Color in 2013, which was unanimous by the way, and it suddenly loses a bit of shine. But, you say, that's just from the past 20 years. Surely their appreciation for great films spans decades, right? What if I were to tell you that acclaimed director Akira Kurosawa only won the Palme for Kagemusha? Not for Seven Samurai or Ikiru or anything during his peak, not even for Ran, but for Kagemusha. Also, it was a tie with All That Jazz. Huh. Nothing from Yasujiro Ozu either. Aside from Parasite, no other Korean Palme d'Or winners. Moving away from Asia, only a few African films. On top of that, not many Latin films either. Hell, City of God wasn't even in the pool for the Palme d'Or. On top of all that, the French Film Festival with all the prestige and shit. No French New Wave directors ever won Palme d'Or. Literally, no Francois Truffaut, no Jean-Luc Godard, no Agnes Varda. Oh wait, they gave her an honorary palm. God damn it with this honorary bullshit! We're not even counting all the times they could have gone with an American or British film as their number one, and it's still off. And of course, the prevailing theme throughout all this is again, no real genre movies, no action movies, no sci-fi movies. You could maybe say that some of the thriller movies are horror, but again, no real genre picks, no comedies if that. So again, what's the deal?
You know something, you Rich? I think this just might be my masterpiece.
This is all to say that the award shows do a poor job in truly selecting what appears to be the best film of a given year, whether it is the award shows themselves, or the lack of inclusion of genre films, or, despite the varied award shows, the persistent need to have the same 5 or so films pop up everywhere. It feels like the same people pick everything. Yet, we look back years later and go, wait, how'd that happen? So let's take a step back and see what we're examining. Well, we're talking about the best movie of any given year. There's also the best actor performance and the best actress performance, as well as the supporting performances for both. You also have best director, best screenplay, and a bunch of other subcategories like best cinematography, best sound, and best visual effects. However, let's just simplify this and we can always extrapolate from there. So best picture being the best film of the year. Well, except it's the best film of the year, while you have best foreign film as its own category, as well as best animated film of the year. Also, the best documentary feature is over there, but that's not in contention, unless you're Michael Moore. More so, we're talking about the best narrative film of a given year and how to select it. So, what are the rules? Let's go to the big dog, the Academy. If we go to their website and head on over to the awards definitions, we get a pretty solid answer. Academy Awards of Merit shall be given annually to honor outstanding artistic and scientific achievements in theatrically released feature-length motion pictures and to honor other achievements as provided for in these rules and approved by the Board of Governors. The latter half is for those special achievement awards and stuff like that. Then you have the breakdown of each award, including Best Picture, which simply reads Best Motion Picture of the Year. The Academy has the Science and Technology Awards before the Oscars we see on television, so that explains the scientific achievement aspect. Still, no real explanation for what they are looking for other than vagaries about outstanding achievements and to honor them. The Golden Globes, meanwhile, seem to only have technical requirements, what counts as an animated film, what counts as an original score, etc. No help there. Great. Independent Spirit Awards, more of the same. There's a bunch of stuff about the films who are up for awards this year, but nothing about the selection process. They talk about who decides which films are up and what makes a film independent, but nothing else. Finally, Cannes has a barren FAQ that just talks about the festival, so there you have it. Vague interpretations of what constitutes a great film being outlined by some of the bigger award shows. Perhaps this vagueness is meant to give the critics flexibility on what is a good film. That's true, what works to criticize one film is actually the benefit of another. The comedic tones of Airplane wouldn't work in Seven. So if that's the case, movies are subjective, they can be critiqued and praised across a variety of different people because of that subjectiveness, and they're inherently unique expressions of humanity through art. If all these things are true, then why do we need awards?
Well, we're waiting.
What is the point of giving out an award or awards for a film or performance when the entire basis of said film or performance is on a subjective view of what is good? The technical aspects of filmmaking is one thing. One could break down and explain how one film's lighting is better than another film, hence cinematographer A should win an award for their work. All of these areas of filmmaking, while carrying a certain level of subjectivity for what is good, as all the technical sides of filmmaking are done to benefit the film in question, still rely on rules and understandings of what constitutes good lighting, good editing, good sound design, etc. It would be one thing if the accumulation of all these components would make the best film, but we know that to not be true. Also, none of that accounts for any of the acting performances, which are also subjective expressions and are all subject to good or bad direction and good or bad screenwriting. This is all so incredibly frustrating, given all the millions and millions of dollars at stake with the awards, whether it is through the advertising, the shows themselves, or more importantly, the notoriety and prestige that comes with the awards. For the rest of that person's life, they are an Oscar-winning director, writer, actor, etc. They will be hired and advertised based solely on the work they did on this one film, but because they won. Hell, they even go with Oscar-nominated as the line. Oscar-nominated director Stanley Kubrick, Oscar-nominated actress Angela Bassett, Oscar-nominated actor Willem Dafoe. So, if we can't look to the awards or the festivals for the best of a given year, then where do we turn to? The actual hokey answer is yourself. The whole art form is subjective, so it's your own opinion. If you think Freddy Got Fingered was the best movie of 2001, fire away, bud. But that feels like a bit of a cop-out, especially given what we already know. As the internet has led to the democratization of information and resources, more and more people are understanding the technical nuances and aspects of filmmaking. Our understanding of good filmmaking techniques has become more and more nuanced as time has gone on. This can be seen with the films being produced as well. Much like how the early experimentation era of filmmaking relied on basic plot structure and spoon-feeding information to the audience, we have evolved the art form to what it is now. Sure, not every film is a Jodorowsky-esque experimentation, however, the common filmgoer understands plot, subplot, rising action, story beats, fourth wall breaks, etc. With that higher level of understanding across all of humanity, we also find not only a higher understanding across film nerds, but an ever-growing number of film nerds. The internet has allowed us to connect to so many different and unique voices in both film criticism and filmmaking, which has led to the rise of online platforms like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and Letterboxd. All of these have varied sizes and depths of understanding filmmaking, which has also allowed various film communities to sprout out and grow. With these communities and platforms, there has come a general understanding of what the best films are. Using these average ratings, lists, and data, we are able to get a broad picture of the popular films of a given year and the best films of a year, as well as being able to filter that data to weed out bots, illegitimate entries, and trolls. By bringing in all these voices and utilizing these aggregates, we are both able to shed light on previously unseen gems, get a better understanding of film audiences, and come to more or less collective conclusions on art. Finally, peace on Earth.
Let's get down to business.
Does this all matter? Not really. The awards will still go on. We'll look back on stuff in 10 years and say, how in the hell did they miss this? This is a travesty. Plus, the websites can be weird. Rotten Tomatoes has that critic and audience split that can be tricky, and the whole website can be flooded sometimes. IMDb can feel like the home of the worst boomer takes in the world. While Letterboxd is probably the best one, it can get annoyingly horny and just kind of lame. However, it's important that we have this kind of curation as we march further in the digital age. We know that media companies have paid and encouraged critics to write positively about their movies. We know that award members are also susceptible to bribes and other nefarious things, and potentially have their own biases towards different genres, different directors, stuff like that. Now, it's about paying to lift up a Rotten Tomatoes score. All these things contribute to the need to become more in control of one's culture. We as filmgoers need to understand our responsibility in utilizing our voices and understanding of our beloved art form to push what we feel is important or good. We see more evidence of bad characters wanting to push the culture in different ways in order to achieve a certain narrative. Only we can achieve a tangible and real thing by stepping in and correcting that course. It's important, especially given how movies have shaped our minds over the years and what it means for the future of us. If we don't do something, who knows? We'll be handing out Lifetime Achievement Awards to Tom Green for his magnificent performance in Freddy Got Fingered, and I don't think we want that. Or do we? Thank you very much for watching this video. We very much hope you enjoyed it. We hope it made sense. If you did, check out some of our other video essays about a variety of different topics. Also, before you go, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let us know any other topics you would like us to cover as well. Thank you very much and have a great day.